So you had already appointed him the investigating officer?
That is correct.
And you left that function to him?
Yes, that is correct.
Then that will take us to paragraph 62, where you then deal with General Flynn's testimony.
To send members, sometimes they come back with 5 or 10 bags.
What's worse?
Yes.
What's worse? Saving time and not complying with prescripts which require that exhibits should be placed in exhibit bags. What's more important? Saving time?
Yes. No, I agree, Chair. I agree.
Thank you, Chair. Yes,
Am I understanding your evidence correctly to be that you and your team did not have evidence bags with you, or enough evidence bags with you, but you as you were at the scene, you did not make any inquiries with any police stations?
You are correct,
Commissioner.
Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner Baloyi. In response to a question from the chair, you indicated, did I understand you correctly, that you learned later that they were transported to Port Shepstone, not contained in evidence bags. Is that your statement?
They were stolen. I did not understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. You may proceed.
On 22nd April 2026, General Flynn was at my office conducting inspections on all our cases on hand. I also asked him if there were any questions he had regarding any of the 10 cases he had drawn from us previously. I explained my challenges on the 22nd June 2021 seizure, as well as other cases of interest. He did not bother to ask any pertinent questions or seek clarity on any issue regarding this matter. Even during this meeting, I did not ever imagine that I was a suspect in the theft of drugs. I will now point out what I believe will show the Commission that the team investigating the theft of drugs was not acting in good faith. During late January 2026, my office conducted investigations into certain drug-related killings and feuds in the Durban and surrounding area. There's an inquiry number as a reference. These investigations were initiated by myself, Lieutenant Colonel KG Sbia, Lieutenant Colonel Dina Govender, amongst 2 other members of the Durban Serious Organized Crime Unit. This led to an individual coming forward in early February 2026 who claimed to be involved in the planning and execution of the theft of drugs that occurred in Port Shepstone on the 8th of November 2021. This informer/whistleblower/suspect was directed to a senior police official outside of the DPCI on the same day. We had done this as we felt it would be appropriate for a neutral party to further investigate this. The head office investigation team was situated in Gauteng and would not have been in a position to immediately respond to this. During the same meeting with General Flynn on the 22nd of April 2026, I informed him of this new information regarding the theft of drugs in Port Shepstone. I missed a sentence there. It's not going to make sense if I don't.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just tell us where to insert.
Okay. Paragraph 68.
Yes.
After the first sentence, right? It ends with Port Shepstone. Then I need to add this, but General Flynn wished to meet or interview this whistleblower/informer/suspect, right? I immediately called in the relevant member who was in touch with the whistleblower to engage with General Flynn, and I left the office. I later heard that General Flynn had sent out a team to interview this individual. From what I understand, he did not go out with his team to interview this individual who had vital information on the theft. I can also confirm the authenticity/credibility and veracity of this new information. I was left in total shock upon viewing General Flynn's evidence before this commission. It is understandable that all of us that were involved in the seizure would have initially been viewed as suspects. In the absence of any credible evidence before his visit to my office, I can understand how it is a plausible theory that the drugs were placed in Port Shepstone so that corrupt members could steal it. The high risk associated with that storage place lends credence to this theory. However, the General ought to have reassessed his investigation regarding the theft of drugs after this new information given to him by some of the very same members he is implicating. He alluded to significant progress in the matter during his evidence before the Commission. He did not bother to mention that this is as a result of the Durban DPCI members mentioned above. This incident has caused a...
Colonel, before you proceed, that first sentence in paragraph 69,
Yes.
when you say, I can confirm the authenticity, credibility, and veracity of this information, what do you mean by that?
Okay, I'm going to try and word it such that I don't give up too much, Commissioner, so you'll bear with me.
Yes.
When I make this statement, I'm referring to being a detective to hard evidence, to names, to places, persons, vehicles, and the like, not just something hanging in the air that's not tangible, that's not able to be further investigated.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
And before you leave that, and please don't mention any names, at 68 you say, I immediately called in the relevant member who was in touch with the whistleblower. You see
Yes.
what I'm reading? By relevant member, you mean of the DPCI?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes.
May proceed.
Okay. This incident has caused embarrassment to the DPCI, the police as a whole, as well as the country, and should not go unpunished. I do believe that DPCI members have conspired with criminal elements to carry out this crime. In the same breath, I plead with the Commission to ensure that the proper facts are placed before them so as to maintain the integrity of the Commission. The damage that General Flynn's evidence has caused to us, innocent members, by creating this false narrative and orchestrating his investigation to suit the same is irreparable.
And before you move on to the next paragraph, at 71 you say this incident has caused embarrassment to the DPCI. I want to understand what incident.
The incident of the theft, Commissioner.
The theft itself.
The theft
Thank
of
you.
the drugs.
All right, you may proceed.
And then in that 72, where you refer to General Flynn's evidence,
Yes.
and you say he created this false narrative.
Yes.
What is that narrative that you, what did he say that you qualify as a false narrative?
The fact that he says by design and not due to, as the Commission referred to, a comedy of errors, I think that's also a stretch, but I would say the fact that his theory was based on loosely, or can I say there was no evidence to support his theory. I think that's the statement I'm looking for. And in terms of, may I just delve a little more into it, Commissioner, with your indulgence? Okay. Like where I cite that Warrant Officer Perumal, a statement was obtained from him, the SAP 13 clerk at Isipingo. As a detective, when you go to obtain Warrant Officer Perumal's affidavit, and this is subsequent to the theft in November 2021. The drugs have now been stolen. Isipingo knows that they did not want to keep those drugs. Now you get a team that's investigating the said theft of drugs. They go to Isipingo SAP. I haven't seen Warrant Officer Perumal's statement, but I believe it goes along the lines where he denies that he said to us there's no storage place. He denies that there were no exhibit bags. So I'm saying I have submitted so many further statements to General Flynn's investigation team. And in most of them, I allude to the fact that we had a problem with Warrant Officer Perumal. Now when the investigation team goes to him, they should not merely pose questions regarding the 22nd of June Yes, the 22nd of June. So to me, they basically asked him, did you have storage place? He says yes. Did you have exhibit bags? He says yes. Because he knows if it comes back to him that he refused us, he's also in the hot seat. So I'm saying, why was it not canvassed with him? The fact that Colonel Jacob alludes to certain incidents where they had issues with you regarding Mandrax, or whatever, but I did allude to it. So I'm saying the fact that the investigation team remained silent on that issue and did not even engage Warrant Officer Perumal to ask him, what's your comment on this? What do you have to say about this? To me, it was, the statement was taken with an objective in mind, and it was not done fairly. As a detective, you need to keep an open mind, you need to ask the relevant questions, and even the fact that I found those OB entries where Warrant Officer Perumal had booked members of SIC and made entries in the OB reflecting that a member went to the doctor for consultation because of drugs being stored there. I would have thought that that would have been uncovered by the investigation team. But the fact that they hadn't gone to that level, yet we're going to a level where we're analyzing inquiries and all of that, that's basic investigative work that should have been done properly. So,
Colonel, I thought what you were alluding to in 72, when you talk about a false narrative, is the theory in 69 that the drugs were placed in Port Shepstone so that corrupt members could steal it.
Yes.
And then you just got lost because you started talking about OB books and other things.
Sorry, I jumped the gun,
yes.
Commissioner.
Can you just answer that question so that we...
All right.
That's my question.
Okay, and the reason, okay, if you want to proceed, it's fine, but may I just have a little chance? Okay. Now I just lost my train of thought with this. It's fine, you can proceed. It's okay.
No.
Actually started there in answering me.
Yes.
That's where you started. You said the narrative that this was all deliberate so that the drugs
All right,
can be stored.
I think I got my point now. May I just, all right, my point being was that it's clear that I was not involved in the decision to store at Port Shepstone, but it's being insinuated that I initiated or was part of this planning by closing off this gap of storing it anywhere else. The fact that I said to the brigadier, I've exhausted all avenues, I've got no storage place. So I'm saying that General Flynn ought to have investigated properly, because the fact that he cites, I should have used Brighton Beach, I should have used Durban Central. Did he not find out from those stations, did you have capacity? He had clearly not known even about the fact that these exhibits were stored there. In his evidence to the commission, at no stage did General Flynn allude to the fact that Isipingo had turned these exhibits away and that they were lying at Durban Central for 1 year, 9 months untouched. And I will go on further to say, there's no official record of those exhibits being stored at Durban Central. I followed up, I couldn't find an OB entry or a SAP 13 entry for when Durban Central accepted these exhibits on the 6th of February 2020. And I'm not doing this, commissioners, to point fingers at others, to show that others are doing wrong, so I should be left alone because I'm doing wrong as well. I'm doing this, I'm highlighting it to point out that firstly, the challenges that we face, and secondly, the fact that General Flynn, I would think, misled this commission by not highlighting a pertinent point by saying to the commission that I find it strange, Isipingo has never had a problem with exhibits. That was his statement to the commission. How can you say that in light of all of this? So hence, I'm saying what I say. And before I forget, commissioners, there's one other thing. I've perused an affidavit of General Flynn's where he cites this Mandrax case, and like I highlighted, he did not point out the fact that it was stored at Durban Central for 1 year, 9 months. He goes on further to state that when the exhibits were confirmed to be Mandrax. In his statement, he says the exhibits were confirmed to be Mandrax. Now, I find this strange, seeing as how the date of destruction by the FSL was the 12th of November, 2022. 2021 that this was destroyed. Those exhibits from Mr. Pingo that moved to Durban Central, it was now taken out the vault. On the very same day, the members took it up to Pretoria, and the exhibits were disposed of. They were taken to an incinerator at some undisclosed location. So I fail to see where there is confirmation that this indeed was Mandrax, because no analysis was done. It was merely destruction or disposal. So once again, it's a concern to me that General Flynn covers those bases when it comes to another member. Yet when it came to this case of ours, the investigation, I would, like I say, was to me not done objectively. Thank you.
Colonel, I wouldn't want you to be misunderstood or what your testimony is. If I can try again to take you back to Commissioner Baloyi's question, and I'll do that with reference to your own statement, okay? If you look at your paragraph 72, the question by Commissioner Baloyi is, what is the false narrative that you say General Flynn created? You understand that? And I want you to consider a response to that question in the context of what you state at paragraph 69 and at paragraph 71. At 69, you say, and I read midway, in the absence of any credible evidence before his visit to my office, his being General Flynn, I can understand how it is a plausible theory that the drugs were placed in Port Shepstone so that corrupt members could steal it. The high risk associated with that storage place lends credence to that theory. Do you see that bit?
Yes.
Now, if you go to 71, where you talk about the theft, the incident, you conclude 71 with the following words: I do believe that that DPCI members have conspired with criminal elements to carry out this crime.
Yes.
So this is what you testify to.
Yes.
Now, in the context of what you say, what is the false narrative that you say General Flynn presented to the Commission?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would say the fact that on the 22nd of April 2026, this information that I can put my neck on the block to say is credible was furnished to General Flynn. He had ample time, or I wouldn't say ample, to finalize the entire case. But obviously one would have expected him to now compare this newer information, compare it with his initial theory, and look at the two, whether they gel. Investigation is all about a process of elimination. Initially, we all are suspects. As you further investigate, you start narrowing down your suspects to a few individuals, I would think. But none of that happened, despite us furnishing such credible information. And I must add, we had no clue that General Flynn was to come before the Commission to give evidence. So it was not done with any purpose in mind. It was done in good faith to inform him, because they were investigating this theft. So I'm saying that the fact that we furnished this info, yes, it still does not or exclude us as suspects, those of us who furnished this newer information. However, if you've had a few weeks to try and further investigate this, one would have expected you to have had something that a little more credible than this theory of it being by design, which there's no factual evidence to corroborate it.
Then just to clarify, your testimony is that the false narrative is that those of you who were involved in the seizure had any hand in the disappearance of the theft. That's what you say is a false narrative to the extent that it is created.
No, I think that's a true blanket statement, Commissioner. I wouldn't want to mention names, but obviously I did go on to say that I believe that DPCI members were involved. So
and it's precisely because of your confirmation of that belief you hold at 71.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand what your challenge is.
Yes.
And maybe we might just not get there.
Yes, due to the sensitivity of it, which General Flynn has been fully made aware of. He would be able. Thank you, Commissioners.
Can I go back to paragraph 20? I assume he has finished his statement. You're going to do your probing. I just want to clarify 20.
Yes.
On page 4, Colonel. Colonel, sitting here, we have taken it as a given that what was stolen in November 8, 2021 is cocaine, and the value of that cocaine is approximately 200 million rands. We've taken it as a given. But because we are a fact-finding inquiry, facts are important. Now, in the absence of a qualitative analysis and a quantitative analysis, are we sure sitting here today that A, it was cocaine, B, the value of that cocaine was 200 million? I'll tell you why I'm asking these questions. I've had to do some reading, the UN report on drugs and cocaine and other things. Depending on the grade, even if the kilograms are 1 kilogram bricks, depending on the grade, the value could range, and it could even be 400 million. So if an analysis had been done, and the quality, the grade of the cocaine had been tested, its market value or its street value could easily have been 400, or it could have been 200, or it could have been 300.
You are correct.
Now, it is in that context that I seek clarification of paragraph 20.
Yes.
So, because you say in your statement, your priority was to safeguard the exhibits, and then you say approximate value 200 million. How did you arrive at that 200 million?
At that stage, cocaine was selling for about between 180 and was it about 400, maybe 300 to 400,000 per kilo, 3 to 400,000. So I think that's how we arrived.
But that was the average price.
Average price.
And it also depended on the grade.
Yes. Just to expand on that, Commissioner, with the grade, yes, the FSL can tell you percentage and purity. If we don't normally get that, but I hear that they have that capacity now. But with regards to grade of cocaine, generally the price will depend on what the criminal networks call whether it's a one-way or two-way cocaine. Meaning one way is cocaine that you only sniff, which will fetch a lower price as compared to cocaine that you can sniff and cook into crack cocaine or rock. Just to give you an example, a kilo of cocaine that's now two-way, the one that you can cook, can produce 1 kilo of cocaine, can produce approximately R1 million worth of crack cocaine. So, it talks to what you've just alluded to, the price will definitely change.
In my engagement with FSL people yesterday, I was deliberate because I'm assuming, I don't know, because I don't have the facts. I'm assuming that even the people who stole what we believe to be this cocaine and they were going to sell it in the black market, it would have mattered to them what the quality of the cocaine is, because when they sell it in the black market, they need to determine the price. The buyer and seller need to say, this is this type of quality, therefore I'm selling it to you at this price.
Yes, you are correct.
That's why yesterday I was so deliberate about what happened to the analysis at FSL, why did it disappear and why.
Yes.
So I want you to understand that context, and
yes,
that's why all of this was important.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. Colonel, that effectively would bring us to the end of your written statement. Now, I'm aware there is a document you would like to briefly touch on, which we will do in the next couple of minutes. But just to inquire from you, is there anything that you think you may have overlooked or omitted to bring to the attention of the commissioners that you deem absolutely critical?
Can I just take a minute?
Now, if nothing comes to mind, as and when then we engage during the course of the day,
Yes,
you may
okay.
refer
No,
to
then
that.
it's fine. Maybe-
For the moment, you are fine.
Thank you.
I refer to this document because I think over the course of the morning, you have consistently referred to it. And you indicated earlier that it would appear that it was not made available to us as part of the docket, and you made it available to the evidence leaders preparing your testimony. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I do confirm that you did give us such a document, and that is the investigation diary that you assured the Chair that it reflects activity regarding this seizure and subsequent events, and that the notes were made contemporaneously, right? Correct?
Correct.
Now, for your comfort, that document is part of the exhibit bundle as CJC 268. Would you like to go there?
Yes.
And confirm that is the document you say you availed us?
Yes.
Now, it starts at page 800 to 812. I'm not going to ask you to read this, but you want to highlight some issues from it as part of your testimony.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Just before you do so, I'm going to give you an opportunity. Perhaps you might start, when you do engage with it, by advising us how to read the document and how to engage with it.
Okay.
Not so much the content per entry, right?
Yes.
Sorry, number?
CJC 262. 268, 268. My apologies.
So it's a new file?
Your file's updated?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. CJC 268, I think it would be the penultimate document that's fine, the exhibit file.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner.
Just 1 second, Colonel. Okay, as I had suggested, perhaps there are different entries made, right, in the investigation diary. At the conclusion of every entry, there's a signature. Perhaps your explanations to us should be on that basis.
Yes.
Per signed off minute tells us what issues addressed there, by who, and then if there's anything in particular from the notes made that you want to highlight, you may have the opportunity to.
Okay. Thank you,
Very
Commissioner.
briefly, thank you.
Okay. Just to give the Commission an overview of what this really is about. In any police investigation, this is your C-clip, it's your investigation diary. It's where the investigating officer will diarize every little incident, tasking, every duty he has conducted, every investigation he's conducted in respect of this investigation. So it's labeled with pages. The first page is 1C1, C2, and so forth, right? The member puts a date, puts a type, makes an entry, and signs off with a full force signature. That's unique to every member. So initially on the 22nd of June, on C1, that's page 800, you can see its entries from Warrant Officer Mpangase, highlighting that information came through, where did we proceed to, what transpired. He continues on C2 as well. Continues on C3. Continues, okay, C4 is an entry from myself. And I think I'll read that out just to show the preliminary or initially what taskings was given to Warrant Officer Pangase in respect of this investigation by myself. The entry on C4, page 803, it's dated 23rd of June, 2021. And this is a 24 hours inspection. It's something that the police puts in place in order for within 24 hours to guide their investigating officer on what needs to be done. So I'm going to read out. I say, obtain witness statement from all relevant role players. Request PCMC, that's our Priority Crime Management Center, to profile all suspects and business entities. I say liaise with the DPP's office, inquire that SARS Customs is brought on board, or ensure that SARS/Customs is brought on board the investigation. And I made an entry here, forward samples taken to the FSL. Okay, that's something of note. Then I think at the bottom of the same
Sorry,
page.
before you do that, can I just understand or clarify so these are your entries
Yes.
on the 23rd?
Yes, but, okay, it's not made on the 23rd, because on the 23rd I was resumed my leave. So if I look at this, and I'll be honest, I either made it on the 22nd, just to, as a formality to Warrant Officer Pangase, or I may have done it on my return to work, because I see nobody had inspected
After the
it.
23rd?
Yes, on the 29th. So I don't want to mislead the commission. I'm not sure when I made this, but it's my entry dated the 23rd.
Okay. And on that date, why would you have made a reference to SARS customs involvement?
Because customs, we generally, all of our drug cases, especially seizures that come through the harbor, if it's not a joint operation, we still require assistance from customs. Remember, they are the custodians of lots of the documentation, and they are privy to systems that the police does not necessarily have access to. So it's a given whenever you do these investigations that customs is part and parcel of it. If not part of the investigation, they give their input, give us documentation that they're willing to furnish, and so forth.
Yeah, I think I'm still clarifying. It's really not probing. But I just want to understand the role of SARS that you anticipate in this particular operation. You have taken the drugs. You have, on your evidence, you have sealed, or the container is sealed, but you've taken the drugs that you had received a tip-off about. And I think earlier in your statement, there's where you say on the day of the operation itself, you got documents, whatever documents that go with consignments that's coming in. I think you do say somewhere in your statement. So I'm trying to understand that what is, when you say to Warrant Officer Mpangase to ensure that customs is on board, what in fact would be the role of customs?
Okay.
Given what has already happened.
Yes.
Yes.
In hindsight, and this I'm speculating, I'm not 100% sure, but it's a good question. And if I look at it, it's possibly because the A clip in this investigation has a detention notice from SARS dated the 23rd of June. Right? So I'm not sure whether I had sight of that, but clearly if I look at the investigation diary, that document was filed by Pangase. It's got his handwriting on top of it. So I'm unsure as to who furnished him with it, but it's filed in the inquiry. So it could be, like I say, I stand under correction. It was a long time ago, so I'm just speculating that when I got back to work, and if I did make this 24 hours inspection, then it's possible that I was paging through the inquiry and I noticed that SARS had a detention notice on this. So obviously we would want to know what led to them putting a detention notice. What red flags were there? Thank you.
Right, thank you.
If I may just follow up, it's a question I was going to ask. I might as well ask at this juncture. Your left column in this diary is headed time date.
Yes.
And then there are entries at different points of what would appear to be the date.
Yes.
Are you, in response to the question by Commissioner Baloyi, are you suggesting that the date appearing in that column is not necessarily the date on which the entry was made? Is that how we should understand it?
It's possible, Commissioner.
No, I'm asking you, how do you want us to read your document?
All right. If you know, now that I look at the fact that I alluded to ensure that SARS customs brought on board on the first entry, normally it would come maybe at a later stage. The fact that I put it here during a 24 hours inspection, I would think that I made this on the 29th, yet it's dated the 23rd. Yes. So I didn't make it on the day because I was on leave. So it looks like I made it retrospectively.
And this is a clarification question, not exactly engaging. Is that not misleading, though? to the next reader of the document. And I'm thinking, if you made it on the 29th, why wouldn't you write the date of the 29th? And in the body
Yes.
of the report, you indicate that this happened on the 23rd, although I'm only recording it on the 29th.
Yes.
But is that not the most ideal way
okay.
of going about it?
Yes, and my honest answer, Commissioner, is that it's a formality in the police. A 24-hour inspection must be done. So the fact that Pangase didn't take it to any other officer for a 24-hour inspection by the time I got back to the office, that for me is administrative. It's something that's frowned upon. It's one of the boxes that you need to tick, a 24 hours inspection, guiding the member on what to do. So it's possible that is the reason I had done it retrospectively.
Also, and it reads 24-hour inspection. There seems to be a stamp there.
No, there's the police sign that's just
Yes, but
smudged.
there is something that's not legible there.
Okay, it says 24 hours inspection. There's
Yes.
a little comma there, and it says warrant officer
I see,
Mpangase.
that's what
So
it
I'm
is.
addressing it
Okay.
to him.
Thank
Yes.
you. Then you may proceed. You were
Okay.
helping us work through this.
Sure, okay, thank you. On the bottom of the same page, Commissioners, page 803, there's an entry 2021-0701, and I state there to CHC Depot with warrant officers Pangase and Sibia, Tim Flaude of Mega Freight present, unpack of container in order to verify if the contents of the container, we turn over now to 804, if the contents of the container correspond with the packing list. Unpack and count completed, approximately 5,395 bags. I shouldn't have said approximately. 5,395 bags of, and I named the animal feed. Container resealed. Contents of container as per the packing list, all in order. Indicated to Tim Flaude, that's the representative of the clearing agent, that our investigation pertaining to the actual container is complete and the container could be released. And then I state that I sent an email to Brigadier D. Naika with regards to documentation furnished by Mega Freight. He is the head of SANEP in head office. So, okay, that's another entry. That's showing that I did go back at a certain date to re-inspect, if you want to call that, or to confirm that there was nothing else further in that container of interest.
Yes, can I just understand where you say container could be released?
Yes,
This is on the 1st of July.
yes.
Where is the SARS customs detention situation here?
Their detention notice, Commissioners, was dated the 23rd of June.
Yes.
So I'm not sure whether they did inspect those other 9 containers. So if they had engaged with us to come through and further inspect this container that we had already inspected, I don't think that would have been a problem. But we did it without them.
Yeah, I guess my question is,
Yes.
if you are aware, and I really am just trying to understand the facts at this stage, if you are aware, as you are at this point, that the container is under a detention notice by customs, as you have told us previously, when you, without the involvement of customs, at least according to your entry, there doesn't seem to be a recognition of customs involvement. When you, without the involvement or reference to customs, you instruct the clearing agent or you inform the clearing agent that the container can be released. I'm trying to understand how that works in practice.
Customs Commissioner was aware of our find at that container. I can't say with certainty, but I would think that their interest in it had waned since we had already discovered the narcotics in it. So I'm not 100% sure of the sequence of it.
As we understand, their interest is the bone meal. So they have
No.
Yeah?
In fact, sorry, Commissioner, to just hope that wasn't rude. No, I'm saying they put a detention on this containers. I can't say with certainty, but I would think for the drugs itself, not for this bone meal, because there was nothing wrong or there was nothing amiss with this commodity. You know, there was nothing that was a red flag about the commodity itself. I think what was of interest was the port of origin, which was the port of Santos, which comes up frequently as one of the ports of origin of drugs, large consignments of cocaine. So it's possible it's based on that, but my suspicion is that they put a detention notice on it for the very same reason that we searched it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're just gone past page 803, if we could perhaps pick up pace.
Okay.
We don't have to read every entry, just, guide us on how to read this document.
Yes, okay, maybe, all right, fine. I don't know if it's of interest, but I've diarized here on the 5th of July, 2021, on page 805, at the bottom, you'll see to FSL and Manzim Toti to drop off samples for analysis. So I call it samples here, Commissioner.
What, the entry on the other side, we know the entry on your side, you say it's samples for analysis.
Yes.
You even mentioned that exhibit bags, and you mentioned their seal numbers.
Yes.
And you specifically say they are handed over for analysis.
Yes.
And an acknowledgement of receipt. B, I was hoping it would be here, but it's not. But on the other side, does the entry also say it is analysis of samples? Because you have to make the request. They must know what this thing is here for.
Yes.
So what is the entry on the other side?
Thank you, Commissioner. When I did hear this come up at the commission, I went through my notes. Unfortunately, or maybe not unfortunately, I neglected to. When I sent it for analysis, I just sent it, I said it's suspected cocaine, and I'm sending it through for analysis. It doesn't make provision, but still, I think maybe I should have stated that it's a sample of a larger consignment of 541. Just to go a little deeper, it's maybe because I had already touched base with Colonel Kuzwayo on this issue that I neglected to state that on my covering letter to the FSL, but it was not stated there, according to Commissioner.
It's fair that there could have been confusion between you and FSL.
I wouldn't say there would have been confusion. Commissioner, during every stage of my interaction with them, it was known that we're sitting with 541 kilos. The FSL can't house it. I'm trying to get rid of this, whether it be via an expedited analysis report, or if you tell me I can take it straight for destruction, whichever way. So they were fully aware. They were fully aware, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. We've made note of the entry at 805. Then if we continue.
Okay, all right. Just look.
We're now at 806.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I see on the 2021-07-19, I said email request to DPP, Advocate KD Governor for assistance, and a correspondence in my B clip as per B3. So that was a covering letter giving them a synopsis of what had transpired and basically preparing the DPP's office to now guide us on this matter.
Okay, then we see there are other entries there. And I think if my reading of the document was correct, beyond this point, 806,
yes,
all the entries are by you.
No, there is...
well, except there is somebody called...
yes, the one...
Nunda.
Yes.
But there are no, in this context,
yes,
there are no further entries by Warrant Officer Mpangasi.
No, they aren't, Commissioner. Yes.
So you are now the investigating officer fully in charge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. However, Commissioner, I must point out that wherever you see red writing in this investigation diary would be an inspecting officer that would have been looking at this inquiry and giving advice or comments or guidance in that regard.
And duly noted, that's the same as your entry at page 803, it's in red.
Yes, at that stage it was Pangase who was the IO, so me being a commander at the unit, the entry needs to be in red so that he acknowledges.
And that's the point I'm making.
Yes, yes.
That the inspection in respect of your entries is in red by, please give me the correct rank of the officer here, Nundla.
Yeah, Nandlal, yes.
Huh? Nandlal.
Nandlal, it's a Lieutenant Colonel Nandlal.
And that was the inspecting
Yes.
officer,
yes.
where you are the investigating officer. And the entry in red by you at 803 is where you are the inspecting officer and Warrant Officer Mpangase is the investigating officer.
You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I think does
One more aspect, please, Commissioner,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
we tie up this. I'd like to draw the Commission's attention to my entry 2021-1104, or even before that, the one on page 809, which is C10. 809. Okay, if you look at the entry 2021-1027. I've made an entry at FSL Amanzim Toti, spoke to Warrant Officer Sechedi, in brackets I've got analyst, regarding their Section 212 analysis report status. He indicated that he needed 7 to 10 kilogram exhibits for weighing in order to complete the Section 212 affidavit. Informed him that I would make arrangements with the Port Shepstone office to retrieve said samples with him present. So that's contemporaneous, that's made on the day. And then the entry after that, it follows on the page 809, the entry at the bottom, dated 2021-1104. Called Lieutenant Colonel Prinsloo, Unit Commander, Port Shepstone Serious Organized Crime Investigations, to make arrangements that I come through with the FSL member to obtain exhibits for weighing. He indicated that he was on a wildlife workshop from the 8th to 12th November 2021, spoke to H. Nika of Customs SARS, arranged to meet the following week. So that's a commander at Customs that I was engaging with as well. So I think that's what I wanted to point out.
Can I just get the following clarifications? If you go to 803, that is now your entry in red.
Yes.
You call that a 24-hour, 803 saying page 803?
Yes.
CJC 268. That
Yes.
is your entry, and you headed it 24 hours inspection of
Yes.
Warrant Officer Mpangase.
Yes.
Then when we go further in the document,
Yes.
and we deal with, is it Lieutenant Colonel Nundlal at page 807, once
Yes.
again in red.
Yes.
What is that? You called yours a 24-hour inspection.
Yes.
What inspection is this?
This, let me see. This is a normal monthly inspection, or sometimes it can be a quarterly inspection. This, I'm trying to see. It could have been a month-end inspection. I see it's dated on the towards the end of July 2021.
So this is a month-end inspection?
Yes.
And how often must this be done? Logic would tell me every month.
Yes.
Would I be correct?
Yes, a monthly inspection of, by virtue of its name. Yes, it's monthly, but you get a quarterly. It depends sometimes on the type of investigation, or if it's not gaining momentum at a certain point in time, and then it starts to. But generally, in the police, there needs to be a monthly inspection.
Okay,
Yes.
so preferably a monthly, otherwise quarterly.
Yes.
Okay, this one we see is dated 31st August. Overleaf at 808, there is another one.
Yes.
It's dated October. That's, I'll write
Yes,
that
there's one in September as well, I see.
Where do you see September?
The one in September is page 808, it's C9. There's a writing in red.
That's 2021-10-20.
The date stamp on it says 16th of the 9th, 2021.
Or you go by the,
Yes.
so what, were there two?
Yeah, this was another one. This was done by a provincial inspection team, meaning this was a team comprising of officers from throughout KZN who would now come to my office and inspect all of our dockets, inquiries, registers, and so forth.
Right. Then working through that document, now that I understand the theory behind the colorful entries, it goes up to C11, right, at 812?
Yes, you're correct.
Am I correct?
Yes.
And I see from C10 at 809, it's all your entries.
Yes.
We are now in October into November, so there was never any further inspection of this file
No.
from September. If you look at 808, from September till November, there were no inspections.
That is correct.
Even the monthly inspection
Yes, there was none done.
and no quarterly inspection.
The quarterly inspection would have now been conducted during the 12th month. Okay, there would have been an inspection in the 12th month, but however, this inquiry was now taken away by head office on the 28th of November 2021, subsequent to the theft of the drugs.
So, and there was quite a bit of activity between that. Why then was it not necessary from September to have monthly inspections? And my question really is premised on the engagement we had earlier about your entry, your inspection of 23rd June 2021.
Yes.
When you said actually the entry was not made on the day, and you accepted that might be misleading. My question is, how do the commissioners know that in the absence of a monthly, quarterly, 24-hour inspection,
Yes.
that these entries were not subsequent to the fact? And not as contemporaneous as you
Yes.
forward?
Remember, if you look at it, then I'll give you an example. If you go to page 809, which is C10,
Yes,
right? And then it states their statement of Sergeant Governor of Border Police filed as per 820.
yes.
Then you can see the date that I've obtained that affidavit is in line, it corroborates with or corresponds with my entry there. So there's no other assurance I can give you aside from that, the fact that my C clip now corresponds with my A clip. Like if I say I obtained a statement on the 1st of June,
Yes.
and then if you look at my A clip, you'll see there's a statement obtained by myself on the 1st of June. So I can't, there's no other safeguard.
No, I appreciate that. So you're saying the fact that there is no monthly or quarterly inspection,
Yes.
the commissioners may draw comfort from the dates of the statements you obtain as you list in the investigation diary itself.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I'm happy with that approach. Thank you.
Can I just check that 807 CO8, the very first entry on the 30th of July?
Yes.
And you've got item 3, which is SARS is assisting with investigations. This is a month, 5 weeks later after
Yes.
the operation. What is SARS's continued involvement in your investigation? What exactly are they doing?
You know, Commissioner, I can't see, I didn't make notes here, but I would have called the same commander that I alluded to at a later stage, because at some point, let me try and find it, I allude to a meeting that he failed to honor. Let me just try and find this. So I'm not sure the timeline of it. Okay. Yes, I think he may have been otherwise engaged, Commissioner. If I look at 809, page 809, the entry right at the bottom, that's 2021-1104. As I spoke to H. Niko of Customs SARS, arranged to meet the following week. So I'm not sure whether he was not available but we did engage, we did touch base. I would assume there was nothing forthcoming from them for me to really diarize and make and file something that SARS had furnished us. So, I can't say what their involvement was, but I was touching base with them with regards to this.
My question is trying to understand the role of SARS in
Yes.
what is now a police inquiry.
Yes.
the container is not with them anymore because you did say that it can be released. So customs is done its part. So I'm trying to understand exactly what would have been their continued role with your investigation.
Okay. Commissioner, sometimes SARS they've got their own profiling team, similar to Border Police, to SEPS. So it wouldn't hurt to make doubly sure that you're getting whatever information is at the disposal of either customs or the police. So hence we bring them on board. But if I had to be honest, they're not very forthcoming in sharing intricacies of where the information came from, what led them to profile a certain container, So we bring them on board as a formality, but I think their mandate is first and foremost customs and excise. So with regards to law enforcement, further investigation in terms of drug investigations, we don't have that much cooperation, but maybe they're not in a position to assist with further investigation. It's not their mandate. But I'm saying the reason we bring them on board is basically to ensure that we're covering all our bases in terms of whatever container had come in, we're not missing out on paperwork, customs declarations, and all of that.
I think my difficulty with understanding the explanation is I come from, and call it an ignorant position, for lack of a better word, that I don't know, and it's not obvious to me what in this particular operation. After all the facts that we now know, which is you got to a point where you said the container should be released. It's not clear to me, it's not obvious to me what would be the continued involvement of the SARS in your investigation. And if you speak about it, if your answer to me is the way you're handling it, which is in general terms, you're saying, usually this is what we do, it still doesn't answer it doesn't give me any better clarity about what role, in fact, did you have the continued role of the SARS in this particular operation, not generally, but in this operation, because for me it's not obvious.
Yes. Yeah, I think the main objective was to try and find out why did SARS put a detention on this. Obviously, there must have been something that was a red flag, maybe something other than the port of origin, maybe something that could assist us. So it's done. I'm covering my bases. They've put a detention notice on the said container. It wouldn't hurt our cause to engage with them. Let's put it that way, Commissioner. So we had them on board. If they come through with something good, because even part of the DPP's taskings from the prosecution side is to say, get SARS on board, liaise with SARS. So that's what we did, although there was not much forthcoming from them.
Is it not the case that even the SARS people you are liaising with are law enforcement people who are seconded to SARS? I'm just looking here at 808 where you say arrangements made with Commander N of SARS.
Yes.
I won't mention the name for obvious reasons. I'm assuming that's a law enforcement person who conducts investigations also.
Yes.
And whatever they uncover in that investigation may be useful when you take the full exhibits to the prosecutors or other people.
Exactly.
Because there may be photos, for example, that you don't have, but they have of the scene and other things.
Yes, Commissioner. Thank you.
I can see that Commissioner Kumalo is being of assistance, but I'm still not clarified to my question. I'm not clear what in this operation, and I accept your answer is what it is, but I have to say to you that it's still not clear to me in this particular operation what the SARS continued involvement was about. You made reference to a detention notice, I think on the seat clip or something. And I would expect that it provides a reason why they have put this under detention. And I think we saw this. It's supposed to be seen by a vet. So I'm trying to understand what role you were seeing for them in this operation, but I don't want to belabor it. I asked the question to try and understand their continued involvement. It's still not clear to me.
Yes. Commissioner, maybe just to clarify there, SARS did not put a stop on this because it needed to be inspected by the state vet. That was not their reason for a detention notice. The state vet does it irrespective. That's part of the whole process of this food stuff or certain commodities coming through.
All right. I guess it will be part of our discussion.
All right,
We've had evidence yesterday about this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. Thank you, Colonel. I think should I call, the opportunity to put your version across now has officially come to an end and the moment of engagement resumes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I would like us to start with your paragraph 10 at page 2 of your statement. And as I understand, if you have regard to from paragraph 6, you have been involved with SANEB, which is the South African Narcotics Enforcement Bureau, from technically 2009 to 2018. You had a break for about a year, and from 2020, at paragraph 8, you went back to SANEB, and this time in a senior position, and by February 2022, you were then promoted to the rank of colonel and appointed as the unit commander. And under your unit included SANEB, correct?
That's correct.
So that's quite a long career in, I nearly said in narcotics, but that would be wrong. In the area of investigation of narcotics.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, at paragraph 10, you say, I have coordinated drug operations, managed drug projects, dismantled clandestine laboratories, and been involved in several drug seizures at the port and container ports.
Yes.
Okay, then you deal with a specific seizure of the 22nd of June. My interest here is, would I be correct to understand you to mean that you've done a number of seizures, drug seizures at ports and container ports, including the Durban container port?
Okay.
Would I be correct?
Yes.
Or am I wrong?
That's why I put there, I've been involved. Personally, this was my first, the one on 22nd June, seizure that I've investigated personally. It was the first seizure at a depot. Usually my investigating officers would do that. This was the first one that I took on personally.
Now, let me understand. I understood the last sentence of paragraph 10. That reads, prior to the drug seizure on 22nd June 2021, I had not conducted a larger seizure.
Yeah.
I thought the point you sought to make there was the size of the seizure,
Yes.
not involvement in seizures.
Just to clarify, Commissioner, when I say I've been involved in several drug seizures at the port, meaning I was involved, I played a role either as a commanding officer, just overseeing operations, or physically there assisting with whatever needed to be done. But this was the first one that I took hands on to investigate, where I was the investigating officer.
So it's not a question of size of seizure, as that after more than 15 years of being involved in SANEB, this is the first time you set foot at the Durban Harbour to conduct a seizure, a drug seizure.
No, it was the
Where
first.
am I missing you?
Okay.
Please try again.
Yes, okay. I've been present at seizures. I was not the investigating officer. I've been there since the inception. We went and opened up containers or reefer containers and discovered drugs in hidden compartments. I was there from the inception, from A to Z, but I hadn't been the investigating officer thereof. Yes.
Yes, no, I appreciate that.
Why do you seek to draw that distinction? Being an investigator or being involved?
Just for the sake of being clear to the Commission, because I think the evidence leader was asking about that.
Does that distinction matter for purposes of what you would know or what you would consider necessary in terms of process?
Okay. I hear you, Chair.
Because surely
yes.
you were not there purely out of interest. You were there as a police officer.
That's correct.
And surely you would have had an interest in what was going on. So it's not just a visit,
Yes.
a curiosity visit. So the distinction should not really make a difference.
Yes. Chair, just for clarity, when drafting the statement, I was part of the email that was sent to me by the investigators and the...
Can you just answer the question?
Well, it was to include this, sorry, Chair.
Can you answer the question?
Yes, it was to include this. I was asked to include this, but whether I had done a larger seizure of drugs at a point.
No. I'm interested in the value of drawing the distinction between involvement, not being an investigator, and being an investigator. I'm interested to know, yes, that's all I'm asking you.
You know, Chair, I think maybe I mentioned...
Because, and bear in mind, I have made the point that surely, as a police officer, you were not there as a curious visitor. So now tell me why you draw the distinction, or what's the practical value for drawing the distinction?
Maybe I'm trying to show the Commission that this was the first one I had handled hands-on from A to Z.
But in terms of what needs to be done, the distinction does not take us anywhere.
No, I won't shy away from that, Chair. That,
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I want to establish.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Before I pose a question to Colonel Jacob, Commissioners, I would like to refer us to CJC 250 in the exhibit file.
258.
It's the same file. It would be the same file.
Say 250.
Oh, no.
No.
There's a correction, 256. It's changed to 256.
Mine starts at 255, that's what I was...
Yes, no, it starts at 255. The Commissioner is correct.
Okay, no,
I'm referring specifically to 256 at page 705.
This is 256, okay.
Now, I reference this particular document, that is the SAP's Operational Response Services Durban Harbour Standard Operating Procedure, Cargo Operations, Sector 2021-2022. The Commissioners will recall, and it starts at page 705, the Commissioners will recall that we came across this document yesterday during the testimony of Captain Duma, and it was part of the confidential exhibit file provided to us by Crime Intelligence. And there were sensitivities on the part of the Commissioners whether or not it has been declassified. So I put this document before you as a document sought and obtained from the Durban Harbour. The printer is running at the back to update your files. But in the interim, I would like to distribute an email we received from Brigadier M.G. Newton, Section Head, Visible Policing and Operations, Durban Harbour, Border Policing, KwaZulu-Natal. And technically, for your files, I think it is necessary maybe to read it into the record. It's addressed to our attorneys. In the capacity of the Section Head, Durban Harbour, Brigadier Newton is authorizing the Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the justice system to utilize the content of the Standard Operational Procedure for Cargo Control, Durban Harbour, in an open session. So I just want to specifically address that. Because I need to turn now to the standard operating procedures. Colonel Jacob, you followed.
And it becomes page 813, right at the back of your exhibit file.
Yes, it becomes page 813. That is the start of Start of CJC 269, and it will be followed by the documents that Brigadier Newton has made available, including this SOP, and they shall follow sequentially thereafter. But it will be the last exhibit in your file currently. Thank you.
269.
It's a CJC 269 kennel is an exhibit yet to come.
Oh, this is it. Okay. Okay.
Now, I don't know if you can follow my conversation with my interaction with the commission.
Yes.
I was explaining the status of the document. Sorry. I was explaining the status of the document, right?
Yeah.
And giving the commissioners an assurance that we have been given permission to utilize these documents in open session.
Yes.
You understand that?
Yes.
That's all I need. I would like you to turn to CJC 255 at page 686. If you keep your finger there, if you keep your finger at 686 and go forward. My apologies. If you keep your finger at page 686 and you go forward in the file, you get to CJC 256, and that will start at 705. Do you see, they follow each other?
705, Commissioner, starts at 705, CJC 256.
Yes, starts at 705.
Yes.
Is that what you have?
Yes.
So both of these are standard operating procedures for the Durban Harbour. You understand?
Yes.
Now, the difference really is the first, CJC 255, is for the period 2020 to 2021, as it's reflected as page 686, you see that?
Yes.
And the second one, starting at page 705, is for the period 2021 to 2022. Have you ever seen any of these documents? In your line of work, and I say in your heavy involvement in drug seizures at the port and container port. Have you ever come across these documents or even had opportunity to familiarize yourself with their contents?
I have not, Commissioner.
You haven't. Now, if we stay at at CJC 255, I would like you to go to page, I'm looking at paragraph 7, that would be at page 690. And if it has, paragraph 7 is headed duties of inner perimeter cargo operations. It's got subparagraph 7.1, you see that?
Yes, I do.
Let's skip to paragraph 7.2, depot inspection team. And overleaf, first bullet point, it notes the following. The inspection report is dispatched from the admin profilers once the container has been booked for inspection at the licensed depots. Do you see what I'm reading?
Yes.
Do you know what a licensed depot is?
Yes, I'm aware.
Please explain to the commissioners.
It's one of those depots that Border Police has, or these depots have an agreement with shipping lines, and after the containers arrive at our harbors, at our ports, they're taken to these licensed depots that Border Police have jurisdiction over as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Would CHC depot be one of those?
I heard via the commission that they were.
They were a licensed
Yes,
depot.
yes.
And in fact, you are quite correct.
Yes.
Because if you go to paragraph 4 under mission, at paragraph 5, And that will be at page 659, no, 687, I think. 688 to be more precise. Page 688. My apologies, I just want to check. Yes.
It's the
688, I'm correct.
fifth bullet from the bottom, just above paragraph 6.
Yes. It is area of responsibility, that's paragraph 5. You see that? And yes, Chair, it is the 5th bullet point from the bottom of the listed areas there. And that reads CHC Depot, Isipingo Prospection.
Yes, I see it, Commissioner.
So then you've always known that CHC Depot, Isipingo Prospection is part of is a licensed depot? It falls under the responsibility of the ORS services at the Durban Harbour. It's their area of responsibility. Or is that an understanding you didn't have?
I didn't have that understanding.
So in the times that you were executing these drug busts at ports and at the Durban port, you didn't know the layout of the Durban port and the areas over which ORS has got responsibility?
Not specifically as indicated in this point 5, Commissioner. No.
What did you know about licensed depots?
Yes, I was aware that they are licensed depots. I couldn't name them, but I knew they were contracted to shipping lines and border police have jurisdiction over them.
So you understood that border police had jurisdiction over licensed depots?
I do.
You are saying what you did not know specifically at the time is that the CHC depot is one of the licensed depots?
Yes, Commissioner.
When did you make this discovery?
I think when Captain or Lieutenant Colonel Duma was giving his evidence.
When you enter the harbour, are these areas not behind some level of security so that I, Mashapisi Loke, can't just wander in? This is harbour operational areas. They are controlled. And I think Colonel Sanders and Captain Duma testified that you go through security gates. Is that not how it works?
There is a boom gate manned by a security guard, Commissioner.
So it's a controlled environment?
Somewhat, Commissioner.
What do you mean by somewhat?
It is not the most highly secure, yes, but it is controlled. It's controlled.
Now, did you know or do you know that at these depots, that's where sometimes, depending, that these inspections are undertaken?
Yes, I do.
And that sometimes significant seizures are made from these containers?
Yes, I'm aware, Commissioner.
So your testimony to this commission is that all that activity takes place in less than ideal security environments. Is that your testimony?
In some cases, yes, Commissioner.
Okay, now please explain in which cases did you reference?
Like if I speak specifically about CHC container depot, the depot in itself is not a fortified premises. It's not heavily secured. Except for a boom gate and a security officer manning that boom gate, there's no additional security that I was aware of.
Okay, maybe before I ask my question, what do you mean by fortified?
I use that word, Commissioner, based on your question of the security at these premises. So, I mean, there's nothing that's...
Sorry, Mr. Law said nothing about security.
I didn't.
What Mr. Law said was, so are you suggesting that these operations take place at less than ideal situations?
Okay.
That's the question.
Okay, yes, I can say that, Commissioner.
And now testing from your experience, because I take it you're a very experienced colonel and police officer, that would not be an ideal environment to conduct the seizure as you did on the 22nd of June.
I think that's a stretch of it, Commissioner. I would say with the right manpower, with the correct members, the tactical team, you've got enough support in terms of tactical members, then it wouldn't be a risk. But on its own, to me, it's a vulnerable location.
And on the day, why then did it, once you discovered the drugs, did you not stop everything? You did indicate that you were responsible. You took the decision not to cordon off the area, as you tell us, at your paragraph 21. Why didn't you hold all operations until you had sufficient manpower on the day?
Okay. Commissioners, I think on the day, if I had to explain, there's so many things that's going through your mind. Firstly, if I had to put it this way, to let the commission know of what thoughts were going through my mind, what thought process I followed. It's my first visit to CHC container depot. The container was removed from a stack of a lot of it was high up on a stack. They brought it down. It took quite a while to even get that container placed. So when it was placed, I think even the photos in the inquiry will show that there were other containers close by. The working space was not that conducive. So when it was placed, and after the photos were taken, the lock was broken. And upon opening the doors, now I'm faced with this magnitude of drugs that we were not expecting. And I look around and I see, okay, there's a container to the right, there's a container to the left. I've got a narrow kind of thoroughfare that I can offload the drugs or unpack bags and lay them out there. However, the area itself was not, it was going to give us a limited space. Even if I did an outer cordon, an inner cordon, that area was not conducive. So my next thought process was, okay, do I now, logistically, do I move this 27 bags to another part of the depot? There would have obviously been another part that would have not been as congested. Do I move it there? But then I look at logistically, it means us carrying these bags, or how do we move it? Do all our police officers line up and carry it to another place? Do I seal up to that container and take the whole container to another workspace? But in my mind, I know the actual crime scene itself is only the container, not the depot itself. So for me, at that stage, I made a decision. I firstly, bearing in mind we didn't have enough bags, the area is small. This is not an offense that required us uplifting physical evidence from the depot. This is not an offense, or the depot itself was not, I wouldn't even say complicit, but they're just an innocent party happened to be in possession of this suspect container at that point in time. If I can give the commission just, to paint a better picture, if this container was at the rear of a truck that was traveling on the N3, and we had information that it had drugs in it, and we pulled over this truck at the side of the N3, do I now say that the side of the N3 is my crime scene and I do an inner and outer cordon there? My point being, I know that's an extreme example, my point being, my actual concern is the crime scene, which is the container. The depot plays no real role in anything, whether I start counting at the depot or whether I do it at a police station, which in my mind is only 4 kilometers away. It's under a 5-minute drive to get there. So I took that decision at that stage based on no bags, based on our situation that we were working in, based on the fact that, like I say, I did not want to unnecessarily prejudice that company. I know these scenes can take hours to process. And where we were at, yes, I could have moved it. But I took that decision based on the distance that Isipingo SAP was away from the CHC depot. 4 kilometers is not a heavy distance. I would say I was more informed to make that decision based on the fact that now we've got uniformed border police guys that are also there. There's 3, me and 2 other members from DPCI. At the back of my mind, I know it's never wise to move exhibits from a scene, but I'm consoling myself by saying to myself that there can never be any question marks or insinuations about the integrity of these exhibits, because I'm now using members that I've never seen before, uniform members in full uniform. We've got a marked police vehicle that can cart the exhibits from the depot to the police station. All of those factors, at once, and I knew in my mind, I knew the Isipingo SAP is going to have exhibit bags. So when we get there, it's going to make putting them in bags, sealing them, all of that much easier, and we enter them into the SAP 13. So that was my thought process, Commissioners, when I made that decision. It's a decision that I will now rue, I think, for the rest of my life. It's something that I will regret. I made that decision on the day based on the factors that I've just explained.
I'm sorry, I hope I won't interrupt your thought process. I have serious difficulties with that response. The reason is you have given a number of reasons why you considered it not to conduce to a proper operation for you to work where the container was. You've given a number of reasons. And those reasons have nothing to do with the one reason that you do give in your statement at paragraph 21. You give the reason at paragraph 21 towards the end of your substantiation, and it is the only reason you give. But now in response to Advocate Sillo, you give a number of reasons.
Yes.
I have difficulties with it. Is this not trying to rationalize the situation after the event?
Chair, I take what you are saying.
Because, if you have so many reasons, surely this is something that you thought about at the time, and something that should also have been uppermost in your mind when you drafted this statement.
Yes.
But it's all of that is simply absent. And you give just one example, and which seems not to be that important to you because you mention it right at the tail end. But it is that one reason that you give in your statement. I don't understand that.
That was my thought process, Chair. There was I've got minutes to make a decision that's going to either mean going in one direction and calling the necessary guys out, and maybe there's going to be time constraints for those guys to mobilize. I had a lot of things running through my mind at.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. If at all that was indeed the motivation, but it is not in your statement. All of those are the important reasons, but they are not in your statement.
Yes.
There's the one reason, which when you substantiate now,
Yes.
seems to be something not that important, but it's the only reason that you mention here. That's the difficulty I have.
Yes, I've got no comment to that, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I am aware it's about lunchtime. Can I just close with one question? Then we'll leave this topic and start a new one after lunch. Colonel, so now we've established that CHC depot is a licensed depot. We've established that ORS, Durban Harbour, has full responsibility over that area. Do you accept that?
I do.
And you knew at the time? You knew at the time?
I didn't know specifically CHC was listed as this, but I knew Border Police worked there. Yes.
Okay, but
yes.
when you were at this particular depot carrying out the operation, you knew now you are under the auspices or the jurisdiction of ORS Durban Harbour?
May I give...
No, I just wanted to know if you knew at the time, or did you think that you were next to a public area?
Commissioner, I think my answer to that is I did not think there was any obligation for DPCI now to... I didn't know of this document.
You're not being fair, Colonel. I asked you a simple question. Did you know at the time of the execution of the operation whether you were in the area over which the ORS Durban Harbour had jurisdiction? Did you know that fact?
I knew they worked there. I didn't know they had sole jurisdiction that they were there.
So if there were any security concerns you may have had, you could have called on them. They are available. They are your members. They are part of SAPS.
Yes, but they
Okay.
yes.
Did you call them to come assist?
I called the members that were there, Commissioner. There were two that eventually drove the vehicle, but from my recollection, there were about 4 or 5, maybe even 4 to 6 of them that were at the depot.
Colonel, at this stage, you are a very senior member within SOCIU. If you say that there is that as a jurisdiction of for ORS Durban Harbour, there's a command structure within SAPS that I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes.
If you need assistance, you know who to turn to.
Yes.
And even that day, you knew who to turn to. I would take it you talk to the harbour commander or somebody. You just don't talk to random police members that you see walking past. Surely you don't.
No, in fact, Commissioner, they radioed their commander to inform him that they were going to assist with regards to conveying exhibits to SAP.
Okay, we will get there after lunch, but my question is your
Yes.
conduct and your decision. You never called ORS commander.
No, I did not.
So would I be correct then to say the moving to Isipingo had nothing to do with security and had nothing to do with the fact that Umlazi was 11 kilometers from your work area? That was not relevant to your decision at the time.
No, I disagree with that,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Chair, it's 10 past
Yes.
1. I've eaten a bit of that hour.
Thank you. For the record, let me just indicate what the one reason you give is. You say, paragraph 21, I did not want to prejudice the company by closing them down for the rest of the day as they were not suspects in the matter. Yeah, I just mentioned that you had one reason. For the record, I just want to state that reason. I'm not asking for a comment. Thank you. Let's
thank you.
adjourn and come back at 10 past.